Can you hear?
Yeah, I can. Very good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. All good.
Good to
Now,
see you.
the pandemic is slowly declining, so the you'll save also. Your beard will also go.
Yeah. It's time now. After the lockdown.
Oh God. It looks like there's some lovely kids' faces coming up.
I have no clue what is the audience like.
I know.
The children. So it's your forum then. It is
So we had a massive rain yesterday evening here in Delhi.
I saw in the news. Good weather now.
Yeah, at least for a day or two.
But I think here this side also we are expecting very normal monsoon. So
Hmm.
after 15-20 days we'll be over with this scorching heat and summer.
So the main rainfall will start when? By mid-June.
Normally third week of June, but
Okay.
the major rain will start in July. July August is what is our major monsoon. But third week will get.
So we get whole 2 months, right? That's like non-stop.
My Bhubaneswar rains every day. I hope it rains in the agricultural areas more.
Yeah, I think it's like everywhere. Of course, Western Odisha we get little lesser.
Right.
Coastal always there is a depression every second day.
Shamanji, are you there?
So RSC Regional Science Center is that planetarium also, right?
No.
No, we don't
I
have
said there is
planetary.
one in Acharya Bihar,
Yeah.
the same road on the other side of the town, after the highway, when you go towards our secretariat, just after Acharya Bihar, it is on the right hand side. It is a Government of India institution.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ghosh heads it. Mr. Ghosh, over to you.
Yeah. How are you, sir?
We are good. We are good.
So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Most of the participants are younger kids.
Oh wow.
So they wanted to listen from you. Actually, how we choose you as a career option as a cinematography and showing such kind of issues, and that will be very interesting talk, I think. Yes, Satpati is there. Hello.
Yes, I am
Yes,
there.
salute. Yeah.
We should congratulate Mr. Mishra to get science department also. Because
Yeah. That will
I
be very much boon for us, I think.
yeah, no, it's not only that. I mean, whatever I know of Mr. Mishra is it's something very interesting, and this is what I have been talking. Just generally, I'm saying that making science and technology part of your life is so essential now.
Yeah.
So having such a dynamic person is very important.
Thank you. I have come because I hold that post. That is why I've been invited here. So I'll also speak similarly.
Yeah, not only that, because last time whenever interacted with the Mr. Sir, we found that people, means basically students are, his speech is such kind of thing that is motivated the student in a great way. And that's time we are, he has some sort of very much busy schedule. So I thought that whether he could have able to spare his time or not, I don't know. So that time,
As a filmmaker, I can say he's beyond Sarkari of his speech.
I think the children will be much more interested and will be really, really warmed up to hearing Mr. Nilamadhab Panda, who doesn't require any introduction, but I think they'll be waiting for that. So without much of a delay, if we can begin.
Yeah. We can start right now. On behalf of Regional Science Center, I welcome all participants. And today's distinguished speaker is you all know, he's a son of Odisha. and he chose a career option is very different way. And in spite of having degree in a top B school in India, he decided to show issues like the climate change and environment through his media, through his cinematography. Though the media is strong enough, but showing this kind of issue uh, with the cinematography is very difficult. And that way, I always think that this talk will going to become a very interesting, and he will be introduced by the another person, and who on whose strong shoulder the science and technology of Odisha is progressing. And it is proud privilege for us to have Shri Manoj Kumar Mishra, the Secretary Department of Science and Technology and Secretary Department of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of Odisha. Sir, welcome, sir. It is privilege for us to have you in this platform. And apart from the introduction, if you share your thoughts with the children about that climate action and environment action when they grow up, what they should do to protect our environment, protect our ecosystem. Thank you, sir.
Somanji, I just need to know whether these are which class students we have got with us.
It is a kind of mixed, maybe maximum up to the 12 student. We generally works with the student group maximum class 12 because
they are from which kind of school. So I will address whether in Odia English or Hindi.
Basically they are from the, maximum from the Bhubaneswar.
Okay. And then they are.
Satpatiji, can you have elaborate the idea?
Yeah. Actually, sir, mixed variety of पिला रहउचंती तेणु आपण ओडिया रे कहले टिके पिला माने खुशी हेबे.
Acha. Okay. That is, science should not be barrier for it. Could be better way to disseminate in a vulnerable language also. No problem at all.
Samastanku namaskar. A hearty welcome to Padma Shri awardee Nilamadhab Panda. He is one of our brightest stars from Odisha. Somanji and all others. My children. This day is World Environment Day. So congratulations to each of us that we are living in this environment. We are surviving, we are thriving. Mu Odia re kahibi, English re kahibi, darkar padle Hindi re kahibi. I don't see am Odia student mane English re pachua, tenu English re jarur kahibi. Au samaste bujibo. World Environment Day re bahut bada katha kahibo. Kemti environment को protect करा जिवो, केमती glacier को protect करा जिवो, केमती ocean को protect करा जिवो, केमती forest को protect करा जिवो. छोटे कुनी पिला माने सब बुझी परिबनी कहबे एते जिंस केमती करिया. मु खाली गोटे छोटो कहानी कहली. से कहानी रो जानि परिबा गोटे छोटो एक्शन रे केते बड़ जिंस करियो. आ आमे समस्ते करि पारिबा. आ से केबे हेल्पलेस फील करि परिबानी जे एनवायरनमेंट एते खराब हे गला कोन हे जिवो. आमे एबे पैंडेमिक रे अच्छे देखुचे कोरोना वायरस जोगु सारा पृथ्वी लॉकडाउन रे रहउची. लॉकडाउन रे रहला बेले हठात देखुचे चारियाडे अधिका ग्रीन दिसची, चारियाडे एनिमल माने आसी बुलुचंती. गोटे जिंस ध्यान रखिबा हमें जे एनवायरनमेंट को खराब करिया को बहुत वर्ष लागि पारे, किंतु एनवायरनमेंट हम मदर अर्थ से निजे वापस ठीक होबा तक बेसी समय लागे. तेनु जदी हमें 50-100 वर्ष धरि लागि पड़ी खराब करचे, 2 वर्ष छाड़ दबा Mother Earth will again bloom. So this is the nature of Mother. It gives you far more than you can take from it. तेणु आमे केमिति आमे जदि बड़ होबा काली की मु आशा करे जति छुआ माने अछंती सब सेमति पॉलिसी मेकिंग डिसीजन की एनवायरमेंटलिस्ट एमति हेबे बड़ हेले आगुकू एला आज तो कोन भाबिबा केमिति भाबिबा.
Sir, I may be excused. Many children request for English.
Many children, I couldn't hear you.
Request for English language.
My only point is to provoke you to think how, when you grow up, how can you impact in a biggest manner to conserve environment. And I will tell this through a story which this country has shown to the world. You know what is the most magnificent animal in the world? We can come up with any name, but tiger is the most iconic and magnificent animal that human beings have seen. and it has captured our imagination like no other animal. And there is a reason to it. What is today's wild tiger population and how much India is having? India has about close to 3,000 tigers today, about 2,900 something, and it constitutes 70%, 70% of world's tiger population. And India was not like this. Not so long back, till 2013, 12, 13, the tiger population was hardly 1,300. So we have doubled in the last 8-9 years. And it has not happened in this only in this 8-9 years. When did it happen? It happened in the 70s when India launched Project. And you will know why I am talking about tiger on World Environment Day. There is also a World Tiger Day, World Day of Tiger, but I would like to talk about tiger on World Environment Day. How do you protect the environment? You protect the environment by protecting the one species which can protect the rest of the environment. That is why tiger was chosen. Tiger sits in the, all of you would have studied the food cycle, in which you forget about human beings who eat everything. Tiger actually sits on the highest. So when you save tiger, you control the population of middle animals. If tiger were not to be there, the middle animals will grow exponentially, like deer, like pigs, like all other animals. And when they grow exponentially, the environment, the forest, cannot sustain itself because they eat a lot. So their population needs to be controlled for the greater sake of other animals, smaller animals, and the environment of foliage. So therefore, when you protect tiger, you protect the entire environment. In 1972-73, we started Project Tiger. We currently have, I think, 51 tiger sites. We have showing, this country has shown for the first time for an endangered species like tiger, we could come back from almost extinction of tiger to a healthy population, and we today carry 70% of world's population of tiger. Now imagine if we can do this, and through that, children from Odisha, you know, you have seen Similpal, or you will see Similpal. This area has been protected only for a handful of tigers. Now a handful of tigers help us in protecting a large area, a river, the soil, the trees, everything. So therefore, when somebody talks about saving environment, don't get hassled that we have to do so many things. We can actually choose one thing and do it. Like in the land we are doing for tigers, in the ocean what you can do is save the sharks. Sharks, they sit on the highest food chain. You save them, you save the entire ecosystem in the ocean. So do not get disturbed that the world is getting worse because of pollution and all other things. This is my last piece of thing that I wanted to tell you, is that human beings think a lot about themselves. We think we are the greatest, the entire earth revolves around us, we are at the center of the entire universe, whatever we decide, we should be able to do. We are also a mere species of animal. We may think we know everything, but that may not be true. And we have not populated the earth for the longest period of time. The earth has survived without human beings for majority part of its life. Earth will survive even if humans are not there after it, and it will survive well. So we should know that the earth doesn't depend on us. It's the other way around. We depend on the Mother Earth. So on this World Environment Day, I would request all my children to take it in their mind and heart that we are a tenant. We just have come here for a certain period of time. Like when we go to a hotel, we don't disturb a lot of things. We stay there, we pay money and go back. Like that, we have come to this earth. We will live in this world disturbing as less as possible the environment, and while going, at least we should be able to contribute. So think big. You all will be able to impact the environment in the most positive manner that is possible. The earth can come back from the worst possible calamities, and also it can survive without human beings. So let's pay respect to Mother Earth. Let's pay our respect to the environment and ensure by at your level, start by planting one tree each of you. Plant one tree, try to see that that grows and becomes taller than you yourself. That itself is the biggest thing that you can do at this point of time. Thank you so much for having patience to hear me. I would be very keenly waiting, like all of you, to listen to Mr. Panda. So many wonderful films for kids as well as for elders to be inspired. I think with this, I end my part of the speech, and over to you, Somanji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for such a nice talk. Right now, I would like to invite Mr. Panda to, sir, kindly share your thoughts. How your first journey begins with the film? What thing is What thing is coming to in mind to go with that kind of work?
Well, thank you for having me, and good to have Mr. Mishra on board and hearing that, because I think we need such dynamic people around us to bring that change. And I'm in Delhi, but I would first say that you are in one of the best places on earth, as I always love my state, Odisha. Be it call about forest, river, everything. As you know, I'm generally a filmmaker. I love doing children film, and most of the kids might have seen I Am Kalam and some of my other films as well. Okay. But I will start with something little darker on this Environment Day. And I think this is the turning point for all of us as human. We can call it, we are living in the age of disaster. Okay. Why I'm saying that, if you see my films, those are, very interesting films. If you see I Am Kalam, if you see Jalpari, those have very positive, optimistic approach. But when it comes to environment, I start with a shocking reaction. And I'll explain you why I'm saying that. See, there's something in the air, and it has been haunting us time and again, be it, the frequency of cyclones in Odisha, or Delhi pollution, or Bombay floods. There's something haunting us. And why this has happened? This has all happened because we felt that we are bigger than nature. Like Manoj Babu said, you're simply here on rent. For a time being, not more than that. But we thought we are the owner of this land. We own it. We can do anything. So in the race of human being, race of that luxury to gain something, because you want flight, you want this. So then you realize one day that you already had damaged a lot. And I'm sure we may not be able to undo it, but we can still survive and make the world a better place. Where there's no planet B, it's only this planet we survive as human beings. There's no substitute to nature. I'll give you the story of 3 different things, which I have done. So if you see my first environmental film, which is shocking, which was my documentary I did as a fellowship film from UK and Discovery Channel. So in 2005, I saw a hand pump inside the sea. So when you see a hand pump inside the sea, you'll get shocked. Why that has happened? Because of sea level rise. So sea has been ingressing and engulfed almost like 3 villages by that time. And in front of my own eyes, after 15 years, I have seen all the 4 villages gone. So that is the kind of impact of that environment, of that climate, what we have done. Of course, climate changes, the nature has its own cycle, but how it's going faster. I mean, if you see a number of our own state, in last 100 years, there were 126 cyclones, but in last 2.5 years, there were 6 cyclones. So all we can do is try and see a way how we can protect the planet, how we can protect the environment, so that we don't see that kind of aggression or the impact of climate change. Now, when you talk about environment, climate change, when you talk about the impact of climate change, that we should talk more. We feel that, it's not happening with me. It must be happening with somebody else. Just imagine about that story I said about Sadbhaya, where 7 villages has gone inside the sea in Kendrapada district. So what has happened there? Those people have 0 emission of carbon dioxide. Those people have 0, any sort of pollution in their environment. when we went, there were probably two or three bikes which were there. And they were the people who were suffering. My second film talked about air, which is Kadvi Hawa. Who suffered the most from the climate change is the man or old blind man in Bundelkhand. In our third film, if we talk about Kaun Kitne Pani Mein, which was about two villages who are about water, which they say that the future war is not about petroleum, but future war is about water. So I'm saying these are the darker stories. Look at, finally, most probably since last lockdown, let's go back and see what has happened. In March, the country went to a lockdown, complete lockdown. And then suddenly the world opened up of different stories. As children, you must be reading, Delhi ki pollution ठीक हो गया. मुंबई के समंदर किनारे birds आ रहे हैं. Venice में what that fish is coming to Venice water. So that shows that you have actually occupied those space. They came back to their normal space. So which means going back to that small interesting word Manoj Babu said, that you are in a rented place. आप कोई होटल के कमरे में जाते हो तो अपना मेरा घर नहीं बना लेते हो कि उसकी फोटो उठा के आप नहीं लेके भाग जाते हो. आप 4 दिन रहते हो, 4 दिन की रेंट देते हो, निकल जाते हो. So I think that's something very important to understand. To come to that level also, if you see, there's something very interesting. How we adapt as in the world. When the world is grow faster, we grow faster. आप जैसे एक घर लेते हो, सिर्फ मियाँ बीवी घर लेते हैं, उसके बाद 2 बच्चा होता है, 4 बच्चा होता है, आप एडजस्ट करते रहते हो. So are the cities. So I think that's how we adapt climate. That's how we adapt the world. How we adjust ourselves to the environment. And at the same time, whenever you realize whatever damage you have done, you start working on that. In the adapting system, if you see something incredible happen to Odisha, I was very, very happy that day when our Chief Minister announced that there will be disaster mitigation codes. There will be a Yodha at every home on cyclone, any sort of disaster and pandemic, that you study that from school. Why? Because we have created that kind of a world. We are facing this often. So we start training ourselves. See, there are 28 countries, I don't know if you guys know, who give compulsory military training for 2 years. That in their life, from childhood, they go at least 2 years for compulsory military training. Because those countries are that. Our country doesn't need that. But here, I think it is not only Odisha. The world need to learn from that. The world need to have that Yodha at every home. And when it comes to environment and climate change, like planting a tree, it is also very important. जैसे हम खाना खाते हैं, जैसे रोज खाना जरूरी है, कपड़ा जरूरी है, घर जरूरी है. I think environment study, having a soul for environment, a space for environment in your heart is very essential. So now, children, one thing I must tell you, आप जब पढ़ते हो, when you study environment in your book, do not keep it as a bookish world, because generally environment is a very bookish world. Okay, so it is essential that you practically use it. Planting a tree or having that sense to the world you live in is very essential. I think I wish you guys will, your generation particularly is the generation who actually going to take the world further and make a better future. So let's take environment as a practical day-to-day life, sense it that, and have that gratitude to this world that I live in, this environment on rent. I clean it up. I do that much of service to the environment. So to give it back to the world. And Odisha has shown it in a long way. Not only tiger story in India, I was amazed to see, I come from Sonpur. Between Sonpur and Balangir, I tell that story to everybody. When I was in the college in 92, 93, it was deserted. So now when I go, it is a deep forest. So I think forest cover in our state has also increased. So there is something inspiring happening. I think we are waking up with a lot of consciousness. So I hope you all will take that, from this environment day, take environment as a serious issue in your life. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you, sir. If anyone have any question with the Panda sir? Hello, student. Do you have any question?
Sir, I have.
Yeah, please. Please
Yes,
ask.
sir. Yes, sir. Sir, how many means the tiger has been increased in 2021 or has been decreased from 2013?
No, it has been increasing. It has tiger population has been increasing in India, and quite a number.
Okay, sir.
So anyone have regarding question regarding his film, regarding the environmental issue he upholded with his film?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
I have a question. I'm Adarsh Das from Standard 6 in DFE Public School. I have a doubt that what can we do in the environment so that it will change into our beautiful Earth Mother as it was before?
Well, it's very basic what we learn in the school, what we read in newspaper, and what you see. Plant a tree that grows with you. That much is the first thing. And basic thing what we learn, I think this environment is one of the biggest thing was, if you see the Government of India Environment Minister's speech, they said water is going to be a big crisis. So saving water. So whatever you have, you cannot, most important factor, do not waste water, do not waste energy, plant a tree. That's very basic mantra. We can see a better future of this planet.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Somin Babu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving a opportunity to host you. And I hope people enjoyed the session. And it is a proud privilege. Yeah.
Sir, I wanted to ask a question.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Sir, Odisha faces a lot of cyclones. Sir, then how can we bring changes so that cyclones do not occur, or how can we prevent the impact of cyclones?
Well, if you read in the recent cyclone, there was a beautiful article which says that Hentala Vana stopped the cyclone. Basically, Hentala Vana is mangrove forest. So growing more mangrove forest, you may not be able to stop the cyclone, but there are things we can do which can protect our life, our livelihood, our land. So things like, again, it comes back to plantations,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr.
Sir?
Hello. Yeah.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah. Ask. Go ahead.
Sir, yes, sir. Sir, as you told that from 2013 the population of tiger increased, but before 2013, what was the population? Means it was increasing or decreasing? Means
I don't know the exact figure, but since the Tiger project has started in India, it has been in increasing order.
Yeah. Mr.
I mean,
Satpat.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Please propose the vote of thanks for today's program.
Excuse me, sir. I have
Yeah.
just one more question left.
Yeah.
Sir, can you name your any two favorite books and two favorite magazines on environment and wildlife?
Well, you should really read Down to Earth magazine, which is fantastic because that will give you all insight about environment, climate change, everything, Book, you can Google. There are many books which has come, especially say Amitabh Ghosh's book on climate change, which is very interesting. Okay, and well, I would consider that book. That one book has a great chapter. There is also called Green Leaf. I don't remember the writer's name, but this magazine-wise, you should see Down to Earth.
Sir, can you tell the name of that magazine again?
Down to Earth.
Excuse me, sir. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what is the biggest threat to environment?
Well, we have many threats. It's the temperature rise, it's the pollution, largely these two, so the emission of, we have to drop the emission of carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide emissions, so greenhouse gas emission is the biggest threat to the nature.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So Panda sir, hello. Panda sir, hello.
Ji. Ji.
So I mean, I have one personal question is that regarding how your journey is big and how you decided to making movies on making film on the particularly social issues and environment, climate change, how things coming in your mind?
Well, I'll make it short. It's basically, I grew up in a small village in Odisha, which is absolute ecosystem with a river, forest, and everything. And then when I become a filmmaker, so during the journey, I realized that the world is really facing bigger trouble now because of as an impact of what we have done to the earth. So I started thinking to tell those stories to people, that look, the world was like this, or if you do this, the world can become like this. So I felt this was very important to tell those stories, which is why I started making those kind of films.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But showing that kind of thing is a very little bit of very difficult with the film.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. So, which application do you use for making your short films?
We make films, and there are different technologies. Today, if you Google, you'll know all the technologies now.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Sarpati, let's propose the vote of thanks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dear students, we just listened from two eminent personalities of Odisha. See, somebody, Shri Dr. Mr. Manoj Mishra highlighted about involvement, sharp involvement, means focus particularly one, and then doing a little, ultimately it becomes a bigger thing. And while listening to Shri Nilamadhab Panda from Sonpur, I came to know, and I know Sonpur is a very historic place in Odisha, and besides the river of Mahanadi, it is a place of heritage and culture in Western Odisha. So, Sir said there was no forest in between, but nowadays that has developed many forests. It is a positive thing. So, children, if you actually could take a note of saying of both, we can conclude that our determination is more important than simple thinking and then studying books and then delivering in public or in your examinations. Acting is very important. So that part everybody has highlighted, and I also learned many things from the duo. And now, because you people, children, teachers have joined 2 of our sessions right from 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. We are highly obliged to you for attending the program, and we are highly obliged to Shri Manoj Mishra, IS, and Secretary Department of Science, Govt of Odisha, and Shri Nilamadhab Panda, eminent personality of Odisha, residing in Delhi. At least we got the blessing of him, so that we could listen to him about our Odisha and the film, how he was inspired to make such adventure. So thank you all. We hope we meet again with some other incidents.